Hello and welcome back to my craft room. It's Julianne here. Hope you've enjoyed the videos you've watched so far, and of course if you do miss any you can always come back later and watch them in replay for as long as the group is open. Anyway, this is my second video for the weekend, and this time I'm going to feature what I originally designed as a gift card, a gift tag. But when I actually gave one of these to my daughter-in-law over Easter, she actually decided to use it as a bookmark as well. So here you go, gift tag that can then become a bookmark, so it won't be thrown away. That's the ultimate in reuse and reduce. Okay, so this time I'm going to feature, it's a bit of a giveaway here, the beautiful border die from the Ornate Border dies. I've actually already cut this one because it can be quite, well, not fiddly, but you need to put it through your machine, your die cut. Well, I needed to put it through my die cut machine a few times to get it to cut, which is fine. A lot of the fiddly dies you do. Or if you have a metal plate, I'd suggest you use that as well. So basically I have a piece of black cardstock here that I have die cut that beautiful border out of. So that's basically why I've done that already, just to save you listening to me possibly swear. Anyway, that's all done. It's beautiful. So that piece of cardstock there was, before I originally die cut it, it was 5 3/4 inches by 2.5 inches. That's 14.5 centimetres by 6 1/4 centimetres, or 6.2 centimetres. So then that's basically had the border of it die cut there. I also have a piece of Terracotta Tile cardstock, and the dimensions of that one is 5 7/8 inches by 2 5/8 inches, or 15 centimetres by 6.5 centimetres. So that one obviously fits really nice behind there, and it really brings out that black in that border. Really lovely. Anyway, so that's the main parts of, well, two of the parts of this particular gift tag bookmark. And then I have some of the designer series paper from the Ornate Garden Suite. So two designs from the suite have this beautiful gold embossed floral design. The other side's got some lovely daisies and things on there, but this particular one, and I am finding that I am totally addicted to colouring this in. So if you have a bit stressed, or, you know, need to keep your hands busy, this is something I really suggest you get into, because I could just colour this stuff all day. So to fit with the colours of our cardstock, I'm actually going to use blends to colour this little piece of designer series paper. And I've got light old olive, I've got light Calypso coral and dark Calypso coral. I really would like a terracotta blend, but I don't think it's actually available, so we won't bother worrying about that. So the Calypso coral goes really well. Just forgive me, I'm going to make sure my iPad is up and running. Okay, yes it is, so let's get started. Okay, so basically when I'm colouring this one, I try and spread the colours out as much as possible. We're sort of juggling the light and the dark Calypso coral, and really just go for it. So it's really nice. The ink does spread a little bit away from the pen, so if it worries you, don't go too close to the edges, or stick back from the edges a little bit, because it will actually travel a little bit. And you can always come back to bits where it doesn't quite travel as much as you think it's going to, and fill those in. So what I'm trying to do is spread the darker colour out as much as I can. So maybe every second or so flower is dark. And then once I've done this one, I'll come back in and do the adjoining ones in the light. So I hope everyone's having a great weekend so far. I hope they're seeing some things that they are enjoying and think they can use themselves in their card making. I know Michelle and I have been looking forward to this for such a long time. We've been organising forever. that's sort of me. I tend to go overboard when I organise things, but anyway, it's been good because that was our first one. We didn't want anything to go too wrong. Then with the light old olive, I'm just going to bring in and do this little leaf here next to the two, so you can get some idea of the effect I'm after. Yeah. So actually what I've done, rather than you sit and watch me colour that in, I have actually coloured one mostly. So this one here, I've just got to add the final touches, and then you'll see the effect. The effect is quite stunning. And of course you can do, you know, any colours that you want. So if you're doing a project and you don't have a designer series paper that fits, you can always use this foiled paper or this embossed paper and make it whatever you want it to be. So I've tried to keep the white centres white, but as I say, some of them, and I'll bring this closer so you can have a bit of a look in a minute, some of the ink does travel, as I mentioned before, into the centres, so you end up with your centres being engulfed in colour, but that's not such a bad thing because it is such a beautiful colour. Or colours just come in with the light one. Now I'm quite obsessed, I suppose, with things being, anyone who's watched me before realises that I like things symmetrical and I like things in patterns. So in this one I've probably gone, well, this one should have been dark if I was sticking to my pattern, but anyway, let's go. I've broken the pattern. But anyway, yes, so I have tried to spread these out across the piece of paper as evenly as I can. So I'll just bring this up to the camera and hopefully you'll see, and if I can get a bit of the daylight from outside the window, you can see just how stunning that is. It's just beautiful, just beautiful. Anyway, so that's the panel for our little gift tag slash bookmark, and really now it's fairly simple. I'm just going to glue the black panel onto the terracotta tile. And then I'm going to just put tiny bits on here, just little dabs of glue, just so that they stick a tiny bit, not too much. End up with glue disasters, which I'm well known for. Just tiny touches of glue just to give that a little bit of security. I'm going to position that here. I've got a little gap around the edge. There we go. And then with our coloured designer series paper, which fits beautifully in the in this little spot here, or fits beautifully with the colours anyway, it just gives it sort of a even, I don't know what, an oriental sort of look, sort of a Chinese silk or satin sort of look, which is really I really like it. So anyway, as I say, I gave this one to my daughter-in-law, and yeah, I usually only, yeah, she's not big into my she's not big into my cards, so I sort of have to choose my gifts quite carefully, and I think she quite liked this one. Okay, so that's fundamentally our gift tag done. Obviously we need to pop a little bit of ribbon up the top here. So this is the ribbon that comes with the suite as well. It's a terracotta tile ribbon, and it also comes in a double, sort of like a double pack with a old olive ribbon of the same sort of width and design. So I've got a little hole punch here, and obviously we've all got a hole punch at home, I'm sure, in the drawer. Mine was in the drawer. So I'm going to go about halfway along the top and just punch myself a little hole. There we go. And with the double ribbon, I'm going to fold them both, keep them together and fold them in half. And then bring it from the back to the front, if I can without ruining my paper. Sorry, sticky fingers and they're sticking to me rather than the fingers, rather than going through the hole. Let's try again. That's better. Back to front, and then I'm going to loop that back and under and through. No bows in this one, just straight, especially if it's going to be used as a bookmark. That will sit out of your book quite nicely. There we go. So that's basically done. What I'm going to do as well is bring in this one of my favourite Stitched So Sweetly sentiment box. I'm going to pop it on the back there, just to, so if you are giving it as a gift, you can write a little message on there, or a little sentiment or something. In fact, I might stamp this one with a sentiment from the So Sentimental stamp set. Just bear with me a second. Yeah, so this is the So Sentimental stamp set, which actually comes in a bundle with the Stitched So Sweetly dies. And when you actually look at them, you can see why, because they fit perfectly. This one is I Can't Thank You Enough, and if you look in there, it fits perfectly with the sentiment box. So I'm just going to stamp that one. Oh, forgive the crash. In black. So this would be obviously a thank you gift. You could stamp it with anything you want. There we are. Done. Okay, so that is bookmark / gift tag number 1. There you are. Quite quick and easy. Bit of colouring in there, but I think it's quite striking with those shiny, beautiful colours. Okay. So the second one I'm going to do in this video is slightly different, but I think just as stunning. It actually uses the stacked strips technique, or the, what do they call it, scrapped strips technique here. Again with the dies from the suite. So this is the Ornate Layers dies. So you can see that one here. I'll find that. So these are the layers dies. We used we used one of these, oh no, we used the borders last time. Anyway, so this is the first time we've actually seen this one. So this one here it's like a really nice stitched, serrated rectangle, nice big long rectangle. So I've seen this in some really stunning projects. So this one I'm using it as a background for our gift tag. So I have this one here, which I've cut earlier. As I say, they are quite, you need to be persistent or thorough with these ones, and they have such lots of tiny little bits that come out. So I didn't want to have to sit here and have you watch me individually poke out each of those little holes. So, but anyway, here it is. Here it is. You can see it's got hundreds of little holes in it. Okay, so the idea with this stacked scrap technique is that you basically can use all your little scraps. So I don't know about you, but I end up with lots and lots and lots of little scraps of paper that you go, oh, they're just far too nice to throw out. What am I going to do with them? So what you can do is cut them, and if you cut them the right way and the right orientation, you can actually create a lovely stacked sort of effect. So I'll just show you how I did these ones. So I'll just take this piece of the designer series paper. This is all this designer series paper is from the Ornate Garden Suite, and you get this is the piece of paper I'm going to use as the guide. So obviously eventually this, with all its beautiful paper, is going to sit on the top of that one there. So the dimensions of that particular piece of black cardstock is 5 inches by 2 inches. Pretty easy, 5 by 2, or 13.5 by 5 centimetres. Okay, so what you do is you get your scrap pieces of paper, you make sure that they are wider than your guide, than your piece of cardstock. So as long as they are wider, you can use them. Then bring in your trimmer or your cutter or whatever you tend to be using, and then you can actually just, and hopefully you can see this under the camera, you just position it, and if you want them straight, you know, just straight, you just cut them straight. If you want them at a bit of an angle, just angle them with your cutter, just like that, and then you can cut them. So you end up with a scrap of cardstock which is slightly thicker at one end than the other. And then basically you can go back in again and do it again. So you can get as many, if you hold them at different angles, you can get different angles. Or you can intersperse them with straight ones and flat ones and skinny ones, and just, you know, whatever scraps you've got, whichever way. So you see there I've got 4 there. So you'd obviously use different sorts of paper, different colours paper. You can use colour paper from different, even from different packs, and you can layer them up like that. Okay, so I've already done my little layers here. So I basically used all the paper in the bundle, in the suite, to actually get a nice variety of layers, a nice variety of colours, and to, you know, and to showcase this beautiful paper at its best. So for this 5-inch or 13.5 centimetre piece of cardstock, I had to do 9. And I think I've done at least 9 here. I had to do 9 strips that I can layer up. So now it's fairly easy. You just basically add some glue to your strips and you start layering them up. So, there we go. And you leave a tiny little gap between them, just so that that nice black acts as a bit of an accent, a bit of a, what's the word you'd use? A little bit of a border between your layers. So the way I've done this one, because all my little pieces of paper are slightly thicker at one end than the other, I'm just layering them so that the thick end and the thin end sort of alternate. So in one I've got the thick end on the right, and then the next one I've got the thick end on the left, and so forth. Just make sure I don't double up too much with my designs. So you don't want, I wouldn't want two gold ones sitting next to each other, or two yellow flowery ones sitting together. I just like a little bit of variety. So just layering it on, bringing it up to the top of your cardstock. So you can do this with anything. I have actually done, in previous videos, I think I did a card, an actual card where I used a panel as a highlight. And then for Easter I did, and I've got a video of those as well if you want to pop onto my business page. For Easter I did egg-shaped ones using this exact same technique, but just in the shape of a Easter egg, which I attached to my gift Easter eggs for my parents, and I think they liked it. In fact, Mum said thank you for my gift tag rather than thank you for my Easter eggs, so I think she must have liked them. Anyway, so hopefully she will keep those as well. So you're going to get to the top there, and you might find yourself with just a tiny little spot to fill. So I just pop some glue there, and then bring in your last piece there. So the chances are it's going to overlap, but we're going to trim them, so that's all cool. There we go. So we filled that right from the bottom to the top with our beautiful, stunning designer series paper. Now this is going to have stuck to my paper, so that's all right. I've got a couple of pieces left over. Okay, so we're mostly there. You can see there on the back why we've used a guide piece of cardstock, because now we can see quite clearly what we need to trim off. I'm going to bring back my trimmer, If you manage to get the really cute little cutter from Celebration, that's also very, very, very good for trimming these edges off. So I'm just going to line that up with the trimming blade and trim off those little edges. Now be prepared to have lots of sticky, well this is me, I've always got lots of sticky little bits left over, obviously where the glue has overrun a little bit. Or is that just me? Could just be me. Move those out of the way. I'm going to do the end here now. There we go. And now this one. Deal with those later. Oh. Okay, so there is our really, really nice scrappy stripped cardstock. I really like that. It's really nice. You could even colour these ones if you wanted to, or you could intersperse them. I've seen them interspersed with just plain coloured cardstock, which is really nice as well. So yeah, that's really cool. Okay, so we're going to bring back our die cut panel now, and I'm going to just glue that right into there. Now you could, and if this was purely going to be a gift tag, you could pop that up on dimensionals and it would be quite lovely, but because I'm actually planning on these being a bookmark as well, I've just sort of gluing that flat, because obviously if it's a bookmark, you can't have too much depth to a bookmark. Okay, so finally with this, well, secondly finally, I've got that ribbon as well, and this time I've included the old olive one as well. I've got a little nested stitched label here from the nested stitch label set, and as I say, I'm going to put all the links to all the products and all the measurements into the comments after I finish the video, so please don't worry too much that you miss something, because I will pop it in. So I've got a very little, the tiniest nested stitched label here, and I'm going to stamp that with a sentiment. Let's have a look. Maybe for you. So again, I'm using the So Sentimental stamp set, which has got some wonderful all round sort of stamps on it that you can use for any occasion. I'm going to get the For You here. Ooh. There we go, that's cute. So that sort of makes it for any occasion, doesn't it? Not quite room for the big sentiment box on the back of this one, because it's a little bit more narrow than the other, so I've popped that on the front. And to be honest, it's quite nice to break up those layers a little bit, just with something a little bit more blocky in colour. I'll just line that up, firm that down. Again, you could put this onto dimensionals if you wanted to, onto foam squares, but because I'm sort of hoping that this will be reused as a bookmark, I'm going to keep it flat. So there we go. Again, I'm going to bring in my hole punch and punch just a hole just in the top centre there. And again, I have the ribbon, so a double length of the ribbon. This time you can see I've brought in the old olive ribbon, so it's exactly the same, but as the terracotta tile one, but in a different colour. So I thought I'll use both of those in this one, because I am using the old olive in the designer series paper. So again, front to back, back to front, whichever way you want. Loop it through. Now you could do this with a bow if you were using it as a gift tag, but I'm going to use this little slip knot just to keep it there and keep it flat. Okay, so that is bookmark number 2. There you go. So bookmark come gift tag. So there's both of them that I've made for you today. So honestly, your imagination, you're only limited by your imagination with these dies and these designer series paper, because you can just go crazy with the colouring, use any sort of cardstock, go any sort of shape with this the scrappy technique, and you know, make something wonderful to give away. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed both of those. Hope you give them a go. I'd love to see what people make. So if you do sort of, you know, create something based on one of these designs, I would love to see, you know, maybe post a picture on my business page. Just would be so nice to see what people come up with once they watch our videos. As mentioned previously, if you'd like to buy any of these products from my videos, please go to that website, stampinwithJulianne.stampinup.net. And as a result of, if you're buying as a result of this workshop, please use this host code. If you do buy from us during the workshop, as I say, we will send you card kits for all the cards that we produce. So the Mother's Day one that I produced this morning, both of these bookmark/gift tags, all cut, scored, and all really you'd have to do is stamp, colour and stick. So if you'd like those, please, you know, make a purchase over the weekend, use the host code, and I will send you those as a bonus. Thank you, plus some embellishments as a little extra as well. So thanks so much for tuning in. That's my last video for today. I'll be back tomorrow morning with 2 more designs, and then we will wrap up the weekend with a Sunday sort of Q&A, question and answer session. So thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoy Michelle's video that will be on fairly soon. As I say, if you have any questions, just put a comment or put a post in the group, and one of us will get back to you as soon as we can. So so appreciate you guys being here, and I hope you're enjoying yourselves, and I'll see you tomorrow.